On. Hey. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to our Lower Bang Wildlife Sanctuary. Here we are at Bear House 8. We've got some little afternoon enrichments from Mr. Pawn. Hello, Pawn. And here comes all the girls to try and get their enrichments. So just wait a sec. We've got a group of, I think, 7 girls here. Roberta, Blossom, Pam, Busy, Nancy, and a little boy. He's the little boy. He's a little stunted boy, got little legs because he never got the nutrition. He was taken from the wild as a cub, as with all the bears. But sometimes because they didn't get that vital nutrition as a cub, they never grow their limbs to full length, so they end up quite little bears. Who's this? Nancy. Nancy? This is Nancy. I can tell she's got a slightly blonder face and a thin chest marking. So of course these are moon bears or Asiatic black bears. So let's go. So they all get a little treat parcel in the afternoon. It's meant to be a little foraging exercise where they have to go and sit down. But we're doing it normally to get hidden. Who's this?
Garit.
Sorry?
Garit.
Garit. Oh, okay. And where's Pam and Roberta and Blossom? Roberta, Blossom? Blossom is there. Roberta. Roberta! Oh, someone's down in the swimming pool, can you see? They're just having a nice little cool off in the pool. So maybe that is, I think that's Roberta in the, Roberta Wainam?
Busy.
Oh, Busy. That's Busy in the swimming pool. Where's Roberta then? Roberta and Pam?
Pam.
Here. Oh, Pam's got a butt to us just there, and Roberta. And we've got the boys next door. There's Stevie with his nice, beautiful, big chest marking. So all of these bears are rescued in 2021 and 2022. There's a couple of sibling brothers and sisters. We've got Sid and Nancy, and also sisters Roberta and Blossom. This is Blossom here. Oh, Roberta, sorry. Blossom's got the big V, and Roberta has like a V with a cut off at the bottom. She's got quite a big chest marking. We've still got, how many more? Blossom, where's Blossom? Blossom is down there eating her beef parcel. So as you can see, we've got we're in a beautiful valley here in Mountain Valley in Luang Prabang. These are moon bears or Asiatic black bears, all rescued from the illegal wildlife trade. Here in Laos, the bears, all of these bears came in as cubs. So, okay, Pon, do what you have to do. All of these bears came in as young cubs, so their mothers were possibly killed by poachers in the forest, and then the cubs taken and sold into the illegal trade. So the poachers often take them to town, to someone wealthy in town, maybe the drinks vendor, the beer vendor, or the wood seller. And hello, Roberta, you're always very confident, aren't you? So my mother actually adopted and named Roberta after my father, Robert, who passed away. So in fact, that makes her my sister, is it? I don't know, I guess so. Roberta, hey sis. Yeah, so these cubs are often sold to someone in town. It's illegal to buy and sell cubs, but the people who buy them, allow people to buy them, often think they're doing a good thing because they feel sorry for the poacher from the village. They feel sorry for the bear cubs that might die if it's left with the poacher. And so they think the cub's cute as well, so they might realize that after it might be cute for a month or two, but after a couple of months they quickly become quite dangerous and big and scratchy and bitey, and they often then go into a cage for their entire lives, or they get sold to a bear bale farm, or if they're lucky, government partners will find out about them and we'll work together to do a rescue to bring them here to our sanctuary. Roberta, aren't you a beautiful girl? Is that all finished, or Stevie next? Okay, so let's go next door to the boys. So, you know, with these bears, as they're taken from the wild as cubs, They never learnt the survival skills from their mothers, so a bear cub would normally spend 2 to 3 years with its mother learning how to survive. Also, they're used to humans now, so you need that fear of humans amongst wild animals for them to survive. You want them to run away from humans, not towards humans, thinking they'll get a meal. And of course, there's a lack of safe and protected forests, so they're not good release candidates. So we'll be looking after these bears for life. So who have we got? Stevie here. Stevie, and then we have Sid. Where's Sid? Sid's here. Sid, I can tell because he's got a very blonde nose, like his sister. So, and 3 others. Rocky is behind. Okay, so let's get. Oh, Rocky's right here in front of me. So where's Sid? Oh, Sid's right behind Rocky. Okay, so we don't want these guys to have a squabble. No, they get on pretty well. So some bears and moon bears would be solitary in the wild normally, but of course we can't provide an enclosure or habitat for each bear, and they can't be released, as I said, so we have to find groups. So off you go, Pawn. Yep. So maybe we can throw it further. Even go and work for it. And Sid, there you go, Sid. Just went down the hill, you missed it. Use your nose, Sid. So yeah, we have to find groups, and the girls get on. Sid, I can tell also from his chest marking, he has a very tiny moon bear V. Sid. Sid. Just over there, Sid, you'll find it. Did you know that bears have the strongest sense of smell of almost every animal on the planet? Their sense of smell is 3,000 times more powerful than a human. So to put that in perspective, a dog is about 100 times more powerful than a human. So bears are about 30 times more powerful sense of smell than a dog. So they live in a very scent-based world. If you have any questions, just let me know. Al says you do an amazing job. Thank you, Al. So as I was saying, our job is to give them the best life possible in captivity because they can't be released. So they have these lovely bear houses and outdoor habitats. They have bear houses that they like to spend a lot of time in because it's nice and cool during the heat of the day. Lovely outdoor habitats that are full of environmental enrichments, such as barrel feeders and swimming pools you've just seen, and climbing platforms. And we also do little things each day to stimulate their complex minds because bears are extremely intelligent, so they have little gifts and treat balls, and in this case it was a little leaf parcel. It's just a little enrichment treat. So in there they have sunflower seeds and also peanuts, which they love, and it's just a little afternoon treat they get each day. So it changes each day. Sometimes it might be smears, so the carer might call them into the bear house and then go around the habitat, smearing the trees with some, it might be peanut butter, it might be something really stinky like shrimp paste, it might be Vegemite. If you're Australian, you'll know all about Vegemite. And some of the bears love to eat the Vegemite, some of the bears will rub it on themselves, but it's just to stimulate their senses and a bit of a treat and keep their mind stimulated as well. So yes, that's what we have to do, just give them the best life possible. So as you can see, they also get pretty premium views. So these bear houses, Bear House 8 and 9, were just built last year. So they're the 2 most recent bear houses we're building, but right down at the bottom there, just below these 2, we're building bear houses 10 and 11. You might be able to see some construction workers just off at the bottom of the bear house there, beyond that platform, and some construction work. So yes, we've been rescuing so many bears that we're desperate since this sanctuary opened in 2017. We've just been a constant construction site, so we've been constantly building because we've been rescuing so many bears. Thank you, Pawn. And yeah, it's just been full steam ahead for the last 8 years. So we're about to finish bear houses 10 and 11 in the coming months, and they'll be filled immediately. And then we'll get straight onto bear house 12. So you've seen these groups of females and males that were rescued in 2021 and 2022, as I said. These girls are going to go off and have a little forage with some other treats. They'll have their dinner at about 4 o'clock. It's 3 o'clock here in Laos. So look, the carer's just putting the treats out still in bear house 8. So why don't we quickly run up to bear house 7, which is just above here, and we'll see if we can see some of the boys up there. So bear house 7 is full of boys. So the females and the males are allowed to be together until they're about 3.5, 4 years old, because they can't breed and they get on pretty well. But after that, once they come close to breeding age, oh look, these guys have got boars today. I can see the boars have been put out. So, well, that'll be good for you to see. So they had leaf parcels down at bear houses 8 and 9 today. Not sure if you can see balanced on there. There's a boar. So they have treat boars here at bear house 7. So let's go and see what's happening. A bit puffed. Running up that hill, you can see the carriers have hidden the treat boars around you can see one in the tyre, one on the platform, and it looks like they're about to let the bears out. So as I said, these bears will be captive for life. They can't be released, and so we have to just give them the best life we can. But also, because they're captive animals, you have to build a trust and relationship with the bears, so they learn to be called into the bear house when we need to get into their habitat to go and hide some food, or hello, don't look at me, it's all hidden, you better go and run and get it. That's the idea. Quick, don't want to miss out. Someone's found their ball already. Clearly they're not starving, as you can see, but they do love their treat boars, so they're just interested in what I'm doing here, and then they'll go searching for the balls. Oh, someone else has found theirs. So they do, as I said, they are naturally solitary in the wild, moon bears and sun bears, but we have to form groups. We don't have the luxury of being able to have a big habitat for every bear. So it's easy to form groups with the girls, but the boys is a bit more difficult because boys will be boys. But we have to just check personality, see who gets on with who. And every bear has a very individual personality, so we just have to introduce them sort of between the bars and the dens, and they may make a pretty quick decision whether they're going to dislike another bear. And I don't know how it works. It's just, they just might dislike one particular bear or several bears. So everyone's different. But anyway, we just have to juggle personalities and find groups that will work. And it generally works pretty well. So the boys are great up until around about 6 years old. Between 6 and 8 or 9, their hormones really start flying as they become difficult teenagers. And so they can have friendships which have been, the best of friends for 6 years, and suddenly will disintegrate. And sometimes they'll grow out of that around about the 9-year mark, 10 years. They'll grow into adults, but sometimes they'll be just boys. They'll just be, males, and they won't want to be with any other bears. But if we're lucky, we've got some groups of males that get on quite well. So they also know that each other are big and strong and can hurt each other. So they'll generally, once someone has a treat, they'll stay away from the other bear, or they might try and snaffle a little bit of it. But generally they're still clear because, they don't want to hurt each other. And also there'll be a bit of, shouting and yelling, saying, stay away from my treat, what have you. But these guys should know that if you keep looking, good things come to those who wait. So here in this group, we've got Pistol Pete and Rupert. Barney was in the group, but he passed away, sadly, as a young bear, which was very unexpected and very sad. He developed a chest infection, and there was a couple of other animals in the sanctuary and a couple of other bears. so he had trouble breathing, and he succumbed quite quickly. So we don't know what that is, whether it's one of these weird types of avian flus that's going around. We were never able to establish it. But anyway, we're lucky we were able to look after the other bears that seem to be showing the same sort of breathing symptoms. And they all survived, but sadly Barney didn't. And who has Barney, Pistol Pete, Ollie Roy. These guys were all rescued around the 2018-2019 mark. Oh, I can see a couple of boars over there, and they couldn't even be bothered. Oh well, the idea of the exercise is to go and forage for a treat, so I mean, totally up to them if they want to, or they want to go back in the nice cool dens and have a nap. It's pretty hot here still in Laos, even though it's 3 in the afternoon and we're in the mountains. It cools down in the evenings, but during the day it really heats up. Let's just have a look next door. We've got some older bears. So they were rescued in the I think mostly all of them were rescued before I started with Free the Bears, which is 2017. So I think between 2012 and 2015. And these are properly fully grown bears. So they're big boys. Hello. So here we've got Dewey, Hauser, Kobe, Huat, Bugs. So we know Kobe because he's missing his arm. And I think this is... this is Huat. I think that's Dewey over there. Was that Dewey right here? With blonder face, I think. Dewey and Bobby over there, and then Bugs. And so Kobe looks like he's just been for a swim. He's glistening. And Bugs, you've just been for a swim too, haven't you? You're dripping wet straight out of the pool. Looks like Dewey's about to go for a swim. So I don't know where Huat or Kobe are. Kobe! Anyway, they have a lovely little piece of forest here, as you can see. They get views of the mountain, the lovely valley over here. Plus they get views over this way of just rolling mountain ranges right down to the Mekong River. Not bad, hey? And all of this is only possible thanks to your kind support. I think you know that Free the Bears isn't a big charity and we punch way above our weight. We rescued 34 bears last year, 30 of them here in Laos. And part of that 30 was the world's largest, let's see through the younger boys, world's largest bear cub rescue of 16 cubs in one day. Unfortunately, one passed away, so 15 survived. They were tiny little cubs, so we weren't sure how many would survive, but our lovely, wonderful team, caring team, who would work all through the night giving them bottle feeds every 3 hours, managed to keep 15 alive. And then we had another 2 just as small come in 2 days later, so 18 tiny cubs all in one go. So we can only do this thanks to your kind support. So you may have heard me mention being a bear carer. It's a small monthly donation, and you know we survive on like monthly donors. So we will survive if we can find more monthly donors. You know, we're not a huge charity. We're very limited resources, and we don't spend a cent on advertising or marketing like the big charities that you'll have heard of, that they seem to earn enough funds that they can afford to spend a few million or more on advertising and marketing. Having a bit of a scratch there, are you? Bugs. So yeah, so we've got 6 fully grown adults here, adult males, and it's amazing to have 6 adult males in a group. It's yeah, we're really great. They're getting on very well. There's no problems with them at all. So we're quite lucky, because if the groups fell apart, you know, we'd have a lot of problems, because we've got all these cubs that have come in and they can be kept in a smaller area for a certain period, a couple of years, because they're just not so big and don't need so much room. But then once they start getting bigger, they obviously need more space. So I'd say Huat and Kobe must be off in the jungle there somewhere. They have a massive big piece of forest. For the younger bears, they sort of tear the forest down. For these older bears, they're not so destructive. So it's lovely and thick forest still up here for them. And yeah, I think a couple of them sleep out each night in that group. Most of the bears we find like to sleep in the bear house at night. It's totally their choice. So if they want to sleep outside in a cave or in a hammock outdoors for the night, they can, but most sleep inside. They seem to my impression is that they like the security of the bear house and the dens. Maybe it's the comfort, maybe it's how cool it is, but it seems to be like, the nice safe place for them. So, and it's good that, we have to encourage them to be quite happy to come into the bear house for when we need to get into their habitats and hide their treat balls and do any repairs. I wonder if someone found the last couple of treat balls. I'm sure they would have. Yes, here we've got. So the bears have different methods of approach for the different bears. So some just roll the treat ball around because it obviously has a little hole. So it's got some treats like some peanuts and same thing, sunflower seeds, and it's just stuffed with a little bit of leaves so it doesn't leak everywhere. So some might roll it around and wait for everything to fall out. And then we've got some other bears that, I don't know if you'd say they're smarter or just have a different technique, but they'll lie on their backs and hold the ball above their heads and let it just drop into their mouth with all the treats. And we've got one bear called Yogi at our other sanctuary here in Laos. And he's smarter than your average bear because he will just hook the treat ball up with one claw and stand up and put it in both hands and just pour it into his mouth. And I think he knows the quicker he can get all the treats out of the ball into his mouth, the quicker he can go and try to find someone else's ball. Look, someone's just found one and is taking it up onto the platform. Can you see that? It's a little bit dark in there. I'm sure you can see though. It's a bit glary, so I'm not quite sure what you can and can't see. There you go. So these guys, as I said, are rescued about 2018-19. Oh. Oh, look at that. Oh, I don't think I've seen that before. Just with your mouth, no hands required. So I think he thinks that he doesn't want to roll it because, yeah, there you go, look at that. Because it will all go between the slats of the... That's awesome. That's really awesome. It'll go between the slats of the platform there, so he wanted to just tip it directly into his mouth. Good work. So bears are extremely intelligent creatures. So yeah, that's why we have to have these little challenges and treats and puzzles to challenge their complex minds. We also make sure that there's a platform and a cave and a hammock for everyone, so they can get a little me time or time alone when they so desire. So it's important that they have those choices to go where they want or have some time alone, some peace and time alone. It makes for more happy and content bears. Okay, let's go down and have a quick look here. That's bear house 7. It's a bit of a long live, but I wanted to cover the 3 bear houses. So this is an interesting group. They were rescued with we've got one bear, Conker, who was rescued in 2015. There he is there, big boy. This is actually a group of mixed males and females. So normally we'll have females and males apart, as I said, after 4 years, because we don't want any pregnancies. And in some circumstances where the boys can't breed anymore, so we can have the boys with the girls together. So in this group we've got Conker, who was rescued in 2015. Then we've got Honey, Peanut and Pumpkin. Peanut and Pumpkin are brother and sister. And then we've got one more little girl called Janie, who's stunted. So Conker 2015, Peanut, Pumpkin and Honey were rescued in 2018. 2019 and 2020, I believe, or 2019, I think. And sorry, is it focusing? I can't really see. It seems like it's out of focus. And then Janie, I think, was rescued in 2020, and she was found in a kitchen in a Chinese restaurant. It was just quite remarkable and terrifying. So, let's see that. They're all, this is the idea of this enrichment treat, is that it's hidden. So in this case, the carer went in, called the bears into the bear house and went and hid the treats around the enclosure. So they're all snuffling around looking for it, which is great. So you can't really see them so clearly, except who's that? Pumpkin, I believe. Pumpkin. But you can see there's bears out looking for there's honey, I think, over there. You can see under the barrel. And then we've got, I think, the two boys and Janie, the little stunted bears, just down there at the platform. There must have been some treats hidden down there. Don't know if you can make out a very little bum that sort of wobbles as she walks. When we took her for our last health check, we saw from the x-rays that one of her back legs, they're both tiny, but one is much shorter than the other. So whether that's from a birth defect or from maltreatment after birth, or from malnutrition, we don't know. But it's not uncommon for us to have bears that don't look like normal adult bears, because they have little legs, stumpy legs from that poor treatment. Conker! Okay, let's have a look next door at the group. Next door is the youngest group in these 3 bear houses. They were all rescued in 2022 and 2023, which, I don't know, doesn't seem that long ago, but seems like a lifetime ago as well, after rescuing 30 more bears here in Laos last year in 2024. So this is a group of young girls. So because they're still pretty much cubs, so they're only just three-ish years old, which is just the end of being cubs, so coming into their teenage years. They're still a lot of fun, so they do a lot of climbing, a lot of destroying of trees. They're quite active during the day, even when it's hot, whereas, I think it's not unusual for any animal or human to sort of chill out during the day when it's hot and then be a bit more active early morning. So I'm sure you can make out, if you look carefully, that there's sort of bears everywhere on the left. There's also some girl down on the barrel there. We've got a couple on the right there snuffling away, looking for those treats that are hidden around the habitat. So these houses were just built last year, and not a moment too soon. As soon as they were built, literally within one day of finishing, they were full of or because these cubs were getting too big for the cub nursery. In this particular case, next door we needed the house where they were for the growing cubs. So it's just a process of just so many bears. So in this group there's a couple of bears I can rescue, which is recognize Dawny and Aurora, and I can recognize them because they have really blonde snouts and the blonde on their faces. So I think that might be Aurora. You can see you might be able to make out that she's got a slightly blonder face. Aurora? Dawny? No, neither. Dawny. Yeah, okay, that's Dawny. So fine, right, looking at Dawny there. And Aurora, I don't know where her sister is, Aurora. So it's interesting because so they're siblings. So you see those similar traits. Same with Sid and Nancy, who we saw earlier, that they both have blonder faces and much thinner chest markings. So those genetic traits that are carried between a brother and a sister, or two sisters. It's really, really interesting. If you have any questions, let me know. No questions today. We've had questions in the past, which is really great. Happy to answer any questions. You know, sometimes people might see this and think, oh, you're called free the bears, they're not free. And, you know, we're quite happy to answer any questions if you keep an open mind and are willing to, you know, ask about anything that might worry you or concern you. We're quite happy to answer. So, of course, these bears were all freed from cages from the illegal wildlife trade or bear bar farms. And so we are freeing them from this horrific life of being trapped in a tiny little cage to bring them to our sanctuary. And as I mentioned, they can't be released, so we have to just give them the best life we can here, and that's all because of your support, because we are just a small non-profit charity. Oh, I think that's Aurora in the background there. I saw a blonder snout just heading off down the hill. I might leave it there. I hope you've enjoyed seeing bear houses 7, 8 and 9. Actually, why don't I walk down to 6 and we'll have a bit of a long... Okay, now's your chance to ask some questions. How old are these bears? We just had the question. So for this bears just here in this group, they were all rescued in 2022 and 2023 as cubs. So often the cubs we rescue around 6 months. So between say 3 and 4 years. So a bear would be with its mother for 2 to 3 years. Normally around 2 years they might look like heading off, so but up to 3 years it can be. So if they were in the wild, they would have just left their mothers and be off to fend for themselves. So, but moon bears can live between 25 and 35 years. So, you know, we have 123 bears here at this sanctuary, plus we care for 304 bears, I think, in total across all of our sanctuaries, Cambodia, Vietnam and Laos. So it's a massive undertaking for a small charity. The basic annual cost of care for a bear is $3,000. So that's 3,000 times 300 plus bears. So that's $1 million already. And each year, and 40 years. And of course, we've got all the other costs. Construction team hard at it. So they're putting a perimeter security fence in. So we've constantly having to expand the sanctuary on this property we have, and you know that means more bear houses, more fencing, more electricity, water, security. So it's a mass. You know, our costs have just been ballooning each year, which has been tough. But you know, we will not say no to a bear that needs our help. So yeah, we just keep on rescuing, keep on going. So this is bear house 6. Thank you, wonderful job. Thank you. I mean, anyone who donates to Free the Bears, this is your work. This is all thanks to your donations. So please, whenever you see any bear rescue or I show you the sanctuaries live and you see these bears living this amazing life, this is all only because of your donations. Jake, Ernie, 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 Jake. There, someone's just had their afternoon tea, so they're just chilling out in the den. There's Jake. Hello Jake, can you see? So that's his den, and I think he's probably just had his afternoon enrichment. I can see a ball there, so he's just been out in the sun having his snacks, so I think he's just having a rest in the den. And I don't know what's happening with these guys down here. Let's go and have a look. Oh, it looks like a storm's coming. So we're in wet season now here in Luang Prabang. So about a month and a half ago, everything would have been brown and dry because we had 5 months or so of no rain. And then come April, May, the rains start. And boy, when they start, they start. You can see it there down in the habitat there. Once they start, the rains just pelt down, and with that, this hot climate and beautiful, rich, volcanic, fertile soil, everything just transforms. It's extraordinary from brown to this extraordinary verdant green, and it's, oh, hello Jake, there's Jake, come out, say hello. Hello Jake. And I'll just go downstairs and see if we can see any of this group. If any of you have heard of Bears About the House, which is the BBC docu-series, where BBC spent a year with us in 2019, or filmed across a year, and then released Bears About the House in 2020. So they focused a lot on the sun bear Mary, and look at these lazy boys just sitting in there. But also they actually accompanied us for a couple of rescues, and one of them was in episode 1, 2 boys called Tong and Nern. Oh, this is Pimai. So he's a very, very... Oh, thanks, Ken. Here's Pimai, and here is... so Pimai's an interesting case because he was actually born in our sanctuary. So I mentioned to you that we don't want pregnancies. Males and females are split around 4 years or before. Because we have so many bears we're rescuing, we just can't afford to have pregnancies. But accidents happen, and we had one pregnancy, and here's the result, Pimai. So the really interesting thing about him is that he is much bigger than all the other bears his same age, and that's because he had good nutrition from when he was a cub, because he was cared for by his mother and cared for by us. So it's really interesting. He's a really beautiful bear. Let's see if we can see. Ken, who do you have inside? Tong Nan? Scotty. Oak die? Or die? Die? Oak Ken?
Thong Pimai fighting.
Huh?
Thong Pimai fighting.
Oh, okay. Oh, Mr. Ken is worried that Tong and Pimai will be having a bit of a fight. They're not liking each other at the moment for some reason. What about Scotty?
Scotty.
Okay.
Scotty.
Scotty!
Scotty.
So we're bringing Scotty out to say hello. I think it's about to
Scotty.
pour with rain. The rain comes down that mountain valley really quickly. You hear it coming and then suddenly boom. Okay. Thanks, Ken. Here comes the rain. Scotty! Oh, Scotty! Pimai, come on. Pimai. Don't know who is down there. I think probably... Go and have a look. Unconditional love for Free the Bears and the amazing work you all are doing. Sorry, I'm reading a comment. We will support you as long as it takes with love from a staunch and dedicated supporter. Thank you so much, supporter called Moon Bear. Jennifer says, thank you for these live streams. Free the Bears is doing a wonderful job, and these bears are adorable. Aren't they adorable? I could watch them all day. Oh, we've got 2 boys down here. So if we've got Pimai, Tong and Scotty there, then we've got Jijiao and here. So, what are you boys doing? You're still finishing up your afternoon enrichment snacks, are you? Jijiao, he's a lovely bear. So his name means 50 in the language of the Khmu people, which is one of the hill tribe people who live in this valley, as well as the Hmong people. And they're the people that we employ to sanctuary. So we're providing employment opportunities to people in the valley here, which is great because we get their buy-in on the work we do and the bears, and also about conservation. What are you boys doing? What are you doing? Just having a little munch back here. It's nice and cool, isn't it? In the shade. Oh, it's about to start raining. Okay, I am going to just see if we can see Scotty. And otherwise I'm going to end it because it's been a really long live stream, but I wanted you to see everyone. Oh, there he is. Scotty! Scotty! So these boys are just sort of getting out of their difficult teen years. So there's Scotty and Pimai. They're around, what are they, 9 years old. So just sort of getting beyond that really difficult phase where the hormones are really flowing. I'll try and zoom out. Oops, there we go. Oh, sorry, it's so difficult to zoom the YouTube live. So Pimai, our only captive born bear, which was an accident, and Scotty. Hello, Scotty. He's quite easy to tell from his chest marking because, sorry, I was mentioning he's got a really thin V on his chest, so it's very easy to identify him. But for me, I'm not here that often, so I have a lot of difficulty identifying the bears. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. It's about to pour. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for being bear carers. Thank you for supporting our efforts. Everything you see here, these beautiful, happy bears that had these horrific lives before they were rescued, is all thanks to you. So give yourself a pat on the back. Thank you. If you're not a donor to Free the Bears, please become one. If ever there was a charity, I always say, if you help a charity, pick a charity that's one, needs your help, so it's not a rich charity. If it's a really rich charity and they've got big splashy ad campaigns all over that you see, then maybe they don't need your help as much as a smaller charity does. And pick a charity that's on the ground doing the work and helping the animals, rather than some charities that are basically just marketing companies, and then they dole out a little bit of money here and there, but what comes first and foremost is paying the big salaries to the heads. And I'm not saying any of these companies are bad, I'm just saying, if you're unsure which sort of charity or non-profit charity to support, pick a charity that actually does really need your help, because they have funding issues, which is a lot of charities. The big ones often don't. They have tens of millions of dollars in the bank, possibly more. And as I said, pick one that's on the ground doing the work, so you know that your donations are going and actually helping animals directly to the charity. Thank you so much. We appreciate your help. We love your support, and everything you see is because of you. Thank you. Have a good one. Have a great week. Bye-bye.